Now, 10 years ago, my next guest had it all. He was a 2FM jock with money, fame, the works. Then it all fell apart for him. As he puts his life back together, he's here to tell us about the last decade. You'll all remember him. Please welcome the great Simon Young.
Great to see you.
So, Simon, huge warmth in here for you.
Yeah.
And of course,
thanks very much, folks. Cheers. Great.
Because they'll remember you as well. I mean, I remember that time back when you were a 2FM jockey. You were like rock stars, weren't you, around the country?
Well, I don't know about rock stars. I never threw a television out a window or anything like that, Brendan, but it was huge, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
The gigs were huge. I remember we did one in particular in Cork, a beat on the street, and there was 30,000 people at it, you know? Mm-hmm. Massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And things were great, you know.
Yeah, life was good.
Life was good.
And of course, you were the man behind Jimmy as well.
Go on now with that.
And then TV as well, of course. And lots of other
TV, the
television
beatbox, and little piece in Ballycus Angel, and little piece in a movie. Life was great, Brendan, at the time.
Well, we have a little clip of Den TV. We just look some guy called Dustin, I think.
Oh, not your man again. Oh, God.
I did a bit of camping and fishing with some nephews. We went off and we had great fun, and it absolutely lashed rain the first night. Caught a few fish during the summer as well, but we didn't actually go away to the sun, and I was fairly busy traveling around.
People once asked me if it was scripted.
You were in the well, we would like to say, isn't that obvious, folks, that it's not scripted?
It's
now,
rubbish.
Mad.
Yeah. So there you are, in your heyday, all going well, you're happy, making a lot of money?
Making pretty good money, Brendan, yeah, pretty good money.
So then, I guess at the height of all that, I read the extraordinary interview you gave in the Hot Press. You basically, would you call it a breakdown? What happened to you next?
Yeah, well, things, I suppose, were going really well, Brendan. And then my dad died in 1999. We were very close. And it was a very long passing, you know. Okay. And I loved the man dearly. He was a typewriter mechanic all his life. There you go. And I think maybe that's where my brother got the encouragement to write and scripts and things like that. And my dad had died, and things just weren't going too well in the marriage, you know. Okay. 2 beautiful children, thank God. Yeah. Blessed with 2 beautiful children, a boy and a girl. And things just weren't going too well in the marriage, you know. It's as simple as that, you know. And there's no point in playing the blame game, as it were. You know, that's not going to get anybody anywhere. So,
but I guess things like that happen to a lot of people, you know, bereavement, even marriage breakup and all that. But it affected you, obviously.
It did.
Worse than it.
Yeah, I'm a bit like yourself. Like Ian Dempsey told me, you're a big softy inside. You know, so you know, as big as I am, I'm 6'3", you know, and you know, with size 50 in shoes. So, and no, don't even go there. Knowing the government that we have at the moment, they'll probably start charging me road tax on them. You know? But. Everything, was going great, Brendan. Yeah. And
so how did they mental illness
manifested? Well, I was at home. I moved out of the home, and I bought an apartment, the closest apartment I could get to the home. And things were still great. I was doing the school runs with the children, and doing their lunch and doing bits and pieces, and. Then Mom would come and pick them up at 7:30 from the apartment, and I was left in quite a sad state. You know, I was sad. You know, I was very sad, and basically I just started to isolate myself. You know, and I've heard it from a lot of people. They do it. They isolate themselves. You know, curtains closed, as not a bit of light coming in. You know. won't open letters, you know, wouldn't answer the phone, all that kind of stuff.
Didn't
you
want
know.
to face the world.
Didn't want to face the world, I suppose, and I didn't want to face the reality that my marriage had, you know, kind of gone that way. I mean, in most marriages, you know, most families, you know, they're not the Waltons, you know.
Yeah.
But not the Osbornes either, you know.
Yeah.
So I basically isolated myself.
And you also you walked out of 2FM at some stage during that as well. I know they didn't get rid of you as such. You decided yourself.
Yep, I decided myself. In hindsight, I should have just taken a long break, really.
Yeah.
I think, in hindsight, you know, but I didn't because I wasn't thinking. Let's say straight at the time, you know.
Yeah.
So I started to isolate, and then is this water?
Yeah.
That's okay.
And you, all right.
The reason I say is it water,
Yeah.
Brendan, is because I started drinking.
Right.
I started drinking. I never did any other drugs or anything like that. You know, nothing has gone up my nose, you know, except my finger and a strimmer, you know, and that's it, you know. But
And had you been a gargler before? Like, I presume in the business you were in.
Yeah,
and
I
everything.
took a drink. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
but in a healthy.
I enjoyed a drink. Yeah, going out with the buddies and going out with my friends, you know, Ian Dempsey and Tony Fenton, all the boys, you know, and you know, we were the kind of the three amigos, you know.
Yeah.
And great times, but I just took to it, and I know now why I took to it. You know, I didn't know then, you know, and it took me a long time to learn.
Yeah.
You know, a long time to learn, and it was basically to escape, to get away from reality, because the reality for me was that I wasn't seeing my children the way I wanted to see them and the way I wanted things to be in life, you know.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that, you know, and I eventually discovered that we can't take the pain out of life. No matter what we do, we can't take the pain.
And you know, with booze, it catches up with you another way eventually.
Absolutely. You know, and eventually, you know, it does nothing for you. You know?
And Simon, you did end up at some stage during this. You ended up then in a psychiatric hospital, in a psychiatric ward. Or
I did. Yeah, I ended up. I was basically at home in my apartment. I was writing a script, and everything just hit me at once. Brendan, it was like I've heard people before say that, you know, a wave came over them, you know, that kind of, and it was just like that. The marriage breakdown, my dad. I'd been working really hard, you know. I was on tour in plays in Scotland, flying home to do my show, doing all the Jimmy stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, I was a working disc jockey as well. I was on the road, I had my roadie, and you know, I was hectically busy. You know, I used to have eyes like the rings off an electric cooker. You know, I mean, they're just cartoon eyes. And so I started to isolate. I drank too much,
and then
and it developed.
And then it was this sudden when you were taken into hospital. It was just suddenly then.
It was.
You were sitting there writing the script, and it all fell apart.
It all fell apart.
That dramatically.
Yeah. Just got to the doc. The doc gave me something to relax me, and it wasn't a drink, I can tell you, but she gave me something to relax me, and I ended up in hospital then. You know.
Okay. And tell me then, you had a stint in there of a couple of months, basically, yeah?
I was 7 weeks in. I came out for a week, and I kind of got scared coming out, you know?
Yeah.
I was afraid, you know, and even a nurse bought me, Marie bought me a little book called Face the Fear, but, you know, or Feel the Fear, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, and told me that, you know, no matter what you do, you can't take the pain out of life. And I was trying to take that pain away.
If you don't mind me saying, was the psychiatric ward was a safer place for you to be? You felt you were more comfortable in there than you were back out in the world?
I think I had some things in common with the people who were in there. You know, I had something in common with them, you know. And it helped me learn about an awful lot of things.
Yeah.
About why people, about bulimia, you know, about lots and lots of different things, lots of addictions, lots of different stuff.
And then you had a lot of actual health problems then, physical health
I
problems.
did, yeah.
It's kind of around this time and subsequent to
I
it.
did, yeah. They discovered a little vein. Eventually, quite a few MRI scans, and they discovered this minute vein, blood vessel in what's left of my brain, and it was pushing the matter in my brain. It would push against this, and I'd just collapse like a computer, going, you know, crashing. And
Okay.
I wouldn't know who I was. I couldn't text, you know. I couldn't talk properly. I couldn't. If you told me that was a piece of paper, I'd say no, it's a pineapple, you know. But I'd only hear this afterwards.
And how often was that happening? How many times?
I had 7 of those.
Okay.
7 of those, and I had. When I was in hospital, I ballooned my weight. I developed a tendency to retain fluid, so I ballooned up to 27 and a bit stone.
Whoa. Right.
Which is pretty heavy. So it was very painful, you know, it wasn't nice,
Yeah.
it didn't suit me, you know, I didn't feel good. So one day the doctor just came in and said, well, what we're going to have to do is drain you. Straight away they brought me into the medical room on the ward.
Yeah.
And they stuck, it wasn't an operation job, it was really a plumbing job, you know.
Yeah.
So
right.
they put
So they tapped you, basically,
two
yeah.
long 8-inch needles into each side, and they drained off 22 litres of fluid, you know.
Right.
80 small bottles of whatever mineral you want to choose, you know.
Okay. So, Simon, I guess I know you don't want to come here this evening just with a sob story and everything.
No,
So
I
clearly,
don't want this to be, this is not a poor me situation.
So
Brendan.
clearly
You're right, yeah.
you have got back from rock bottom and everything, and
Yeah.
are you recovered now? Are you in a process of recovery?
I
or where are
certainly
you
am.
at?
I've got my little mini home studio, which I dust around with, and as most of the guys do. I'm feeling good. I'm enjoying the day again. You
Yeah.
know, there's happiness in my day, and the joy was gone from my day.
Yeah.
You know, and I just wanted it to, each day just to go quickly and turn into nighttime, and just go to sleep. You know, and I think a lot of people can identify with that, and you know, there should be no shame attached to it.
Yeah.
No shame attached to depression whatsoever. It's and anything like any illness or a disease, you know. A disease means you're from at a distance from your ease.
Yeah.
You're at a distance from your ease, and I was at a distance from my ease.
Okay. So listen, it's good to see you feeling well again and in good form. I presume you'd like to get back in the game and everything.
Of course I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything else at all, Brendan.
Okay.
You know, I couldn't cut your hair now or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You know? I'd love to have a go at it, you know. But I don't think you'd like the result, you know.
Listen, it could be an improvement.
It could be, not at all.
Well, listen,
no.
Simon, good to see you.
It's great to see you
good
too,
to see you
Brendan.
in
Yeah.
good form.
Well, I'm ready for radio again.
Okay.
And I hope that people think that radio is ready for me.
I think we all know there's a lot of love out there.
Thank you.
A lot of love out there for Simon Young. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Young.